Let's come to the third point. In this situation, what advice would you offer him? Sam should treat me with respect. Sam should have the decency to call me. Sam should be open with me. Sam should let me know what is happening. Which one is the most emotional thought?
Can you read it one more time, please?
Yes. Sam should treat me with respect. Sam should have the decency to call me. Sam should be open with me. Sam should let me know what is happening.
He should have the decency to call me.
Sam should have the decency to call me. What is the translation for decency?
Anstand.
Thanks. Sam should have the decency to call me. They're in the situation on the couch in front of the fireplace. Sam should have the decency to call me. Is it true?
Yes.
Sam should have the decency to call me. Can you absolutely now know that it's true?
No.
How do you react? What happens when you believe the thought, Sam should have the decency to call me? There on the couch in front of the fireplace.
Oh, I feel like such a victim, and I feel really cheated, and tell myself, poor me, who's abandoned and rejected. This time I feel more superior than him, and I accuse him of being a coward in my mind's eye, and I'm putting myself above him, and I have thoughts like, how dare he?
Where are you feeling this emotion in your body? Sam should have the decency to call me.
It's in my face. It's everything feels really strict and feels like really stern and a lot of judgment, and yeah, I'm like I feel like I'm the teacher for the school of life. That's not how you do things.
How are you treating yourself when you have the thought, Sam should have the decency to call me?
I pity myself, and I'm telling myself, now you're in the club of people who were cheated on, and I'm putting all these labels on all the men in the world who ever cheated on women, as if Women never do that. How I treat myself. Was that the question?
Yeah, how are you treating yourself when you think Sam should have the decency to call me?
Yeah, I'm putting all my power into someone else, so I feel really powerless, and I feel completely disabled and out of action, as if there's nothing I can do. I find one excuse after the other for myself and my behavior.
How old is this thought? When did this thought first come to you? At what age? Sam should have the decency to call me.
It was in my early teenage years when I was in love for the first time, and the boy I was in love with didn't call me. And I'm just seeing how this went on through a lot of friendships, also with other people, not only boys and men. I always need them to do something so that I'm happy. I feel really tense when I believe that thought.
What is your proof for Sam should have the decency to call me?
My proof. Look at a telephone that doesn't ring. What's my proof? I've got no proof.
Okay. What are you getting out of believing Sam should have the decency to call me?
In my head, I tell other people how they should be so that I don't need to do any work on myself and self-evaluate and ask where I can do things in a more loving way with less judgment.
Who would you be without the thought Sam should have the decency to call me? Imagine you would not even be or have the ability to think this thought. Sam should have the decency to call me. They're in the situation in front of the fireplace.
Start relaxing, and all the tension in my face and my head is leaving me. My shoulders are relaxing. and I'm just in my own business. And I feel free and at peace. And I have everything I need in this moment.
How do you treat Sam without the thought, Sam should have the decency to call me?
I just see somebody who's out on a Saturday night and enjoys life and is free to do what he wants to do. And can see his smiling face. And it's very loving. I'm okay where I am, and he's okay to do what he feels like doing on that Saturday night.
Who do you know who can do that? How do they do it? Sam should have the decency to call me without the thought.
Who do I know?
Yeah, who is able to do that? To live without the thought, he should have the decency to call me.
An older self of me can do that. Yeah. If I jump to my future self, I can do it. I can do it now.
Standing in the presence of the other person, how would you treat him differently? He is doing what he is doing. You can no longer think, Sam should have the decency to call me.
So if I stood in front of him, I would probably be able to express my gratitude and say, thank you for the lovely few weeks we had, and to have had that experience with him. And that I'm letting him go to now live his life how he wants to live it. And it's a lot more relaxed.
Where do you feel that in your body?
So I can feel myself smiling, and it's like a contentment that spreads now from my head all the way down. It almost like the smile relaxes my shoulders, so they go down, and then all the air can travel into my whole body when I inhale. There's no more resistance.
Okay. Let's do the turnarounds. Sam should have the decency to call me.
I should have the decency to call me.
I should have the decency to call you, to call me. So why is it as true or truer?
the first thing that comes to mind is I should have the decency to want to spend time with myself.
Mhm.
And I should have the decency to find some good attributes and strengths about myself.
Attributes and strengths about yourself. Yeah.
And in this moment, one of them is that I do need alone time. And I need to relax in front of the fire without people around. So I'm just discovering that I need that time to be with people, and I need alone time too. And it's not a bad thing.
Okay. What else? I should have the decency to call me.
To call me out of my misery. Should have the decency to call me. Yeah, to maybe also call out on what's not working in my life in that moment. Just drowning myself with alcohol and my sorrows. I should have the courage to find better ways of spending time with myself.
The courage to find better ways with yourself.
Yeah, to enjoy my own company more.
To enjoy your own company.
Decency to call me.
I should have the decency to call me there on the couch in front of the fireplace Saturday evening. What else pops up?
I just have an example how I could go to the phone and just have a conversation with myself and ask myself some questions, because I've got the best advice for my own life, really, how to live it. And have some fun with it as well. Take out all the judgment.
You may go to the phone and ask yourself some questions, have some fun without judgment.
Yeah.
Okay. Second turnaround. Sam should have the decency to call me.
He shouldn't have the decency to call me.
Sam should.
It's true, because I don't receive a call, so it's not something that needs to happen, and I survive as well.
Okay. It's reality and you will survive as well.
Shouldn't have the decency to call me.
Sam should not have the decency to call you. There on the couch in front of the fireplace.
Because it feels so disempowering to be in his business and telling him what he shouldn't do. It feels awful, and I don't want that. Shouldn't have the decency to call me. because I don't seem to have that decency myself, so I can't expect it from anyone else.
Mhm.
And when others don't call me, then I can step into my own power. And I look for ways and tools how to do it.
You can step in your own power.
Mm.
Look for ways. Mhm. Okay. Third turnaround. Sam should have the decency to call me. You had already, I should have the decency to call me. Sam should not have the decency to call me.
I should have the decency to call him.
I should have the decency to call him.
Mm.
They're on the couch in front of the fireplace. How is it true or truer? I should have the decency to call him.
Instead of being a victim, I could take some action and find out how to get in touch with him. I should have the decency to call him. I should have the decency to call him other things than all the negative stuff I accuse him of. For example, I could see that he's someone who seems to clearly know his boundaries and do what makes him feel good.
Mm-hmm.
Should I have the decency to call him better names than a heartbreaker and a cheater? I could call him just a man who finds his way in life and who already gave me the time he felt was right for him to give me. How was the turnaround?
The turnaround was, I should have the decency to call him.
I should have the decency to call him. If it's that important to find out what he did wrong, I could go and ask him, but it doesn't seem to be that important.
Mm-hmm. Okay, thank you.